we look at how the business and IT strategy evolve together in digital organizations. There is generally convergence of the digital and IT strategy, but which means the IT strategy has to be aligned to the business strategy and to the business. Leading digital organizations have technology at the very core of their business. Technology is the business strategy, which means that the various business stakeholders will align, understand the technology clearly. They know that which technologies can deliver value. And the strategic decisions may not be possible without considering the technologies and those platforms. So, which means that both the business and technology and the IT should evolve together. Making a distinction between business and IT using SLAs, for example, is not alignment. So the first point takes us to this second point, the standard way of SLAs between the customer or the business and the IT is not alignment, because they are not co-evolving together or working together. Co-evolving organizations focus more on delivering change projects or programs and objectives and key results, OKRs, instead of digital projects in response to changing business condition. Meaning the term digital projects is risky because it is just another project. But what is more important, it can be digital, but it needs to be a change project, which means that project which is moving the organization towards the success of the new digital strategy. Successful digital strategies depend on leaders and managers who can decide the changes they make and the competencies to develop, and high level of communication between IT and business leaders, learning from each other using formal settings. So this IT, the SLA between the IT and the business is generally a problem, because alignment doesn't happen. It creates a separation between the business and IT. So there is no alignment there. The business people will see the IT as a completely separate supporting entity, though it may be internal department. And so therefore they will view the digital strategy as a smaller component of the overall business strategy, which may not be a good idea always. Sometimes it can be, but not all the time. And generally the change in the market will be faster than the decision making of the organization. That's why we need this co-evolution. So a lot of experience and knowledge of the leaders is required in the digital area in order to understand which competencies are necessary to be developed and what changes need to be made in the organization. So a lot of openness and clear communication channels between the IT and the business leaders will be required. And they should both learn from each other. And that's why we have, previously we looked at the concept of steering committees and those kind of formal structures where proper communication may be enabled between the business and IT and digital leaders. Now we have the compliance concept. Many companies are required to demonstrate their compliance with legislation and regulation. This can include not only private companies, but even governmental organizations and other public companies. So it protects consumers from incompetent providers and known risks such as cybersecurity. Interestingly, compliance removes those providers who are not competent enough. So therefore there is customer protection, consumer protection. However, compliance is not an end in itself, but a means of ensuring long-term viability and healthy growth of the organization and its environment. So compliance plays a good role in the health of the economy. Yeah, it protects consumers from dishonest providers or providers who are incompetent. And also it will it will create barriers for competitors who are not really good providers, which the consumers are expecting. And at the same time, compliance protects from the cybersecurity risks also, which ensure the minimum protection levels required to be implemented by the providers. But note that compliance is not the end in itself. Yeah, it is just a way. It helps to healthy growth and long-term viability. And some compliance is mandatory, such as with the laws. But many standards, regulations, and ethical codes are also valuable, apart from compliance, for alignment of behaviors and roles to organization objectives and strategy. So this is clear, like not only just law, but there are other internal standards and benchmarks, etc., which can be used. Code of ethics of the organization, which can also be compliance mechanisms, which are quite effective. Executives must demonstrate that the organization is configured and operates in compliance with the required and relevant areas. Yeah, so this could mean um, compliant with the organization is configured and compliant with the strategy, policies, and standards defined by the governing body. It will be compliant with the regulations of the government and other regulatory bodies. That they are compliant with the international or benchmarks such as ISO standards. For example, ISO 20000 series for service management. And there may be other ethical standards of the company or taken from industry associations also, certain ethical standards. And also following the country law in which the organization operates. There may be specific things like even advertising laws or antitrust laws, health and safety laws to be complied with. So